think what makes the Curry 4 so special is that it was designed from the ground up for Steph in mind. First, I start with function, and then when it comes to aesthetic, I'll try and apply something that's close to him. From first conversation to sketches.
It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
This is 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson here, joined by the great Shaquille O'Neal and the equally great Kenny the Jet Smith. Tonight we'll see the Oklahoma City Thunder playing against the Timberwolves out in Minneapolis. Well, for Minnesota, so far their season hasn't gone the way they or their fans expected it to. Listening to the coaches and players, they say the effort has been there, just the results haven't. You have to wonder what kind of change.
Clouds passing high over the 10th Avenue Bridge and the Mississippi River here in Minneapolis. A gorgeous scene. And welcome everyone to another presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. Hi, this is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and our sideline reporters, the Hall of Famer David Aldridge. And wouldn't you know it, our good friend KG, Kevin Garnett, has come by to say hello and join us. Kevin, great to see you.
K-Hall, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm glad you're here.
It's good to see you, man.
You ready to go?
Oh, I'm always ready. What's up?
All right. A contest in the West. We'll see if the Timberwolves can please this home crowd. Their last encounter was in Oklahoma City, where they were able to handle the Thunder.
Away from home, you got to execute it, and they did that flawlessly.
And that's what it comes down to, execution, especially when you're on the road. Can you follow your game plan? I thought they were awesome in that game.
And with tip-off coming up, we've got just enough time to hear.
Well, guys,
And that's how Russ has always been, D.A., a high-motor player who leaves it all out on the floor. And, Kevin, your last couple years, you got to mentor some young players. Karl Anthony Towns comes to mind. How good do you think he can be?
Man, Cat is the next. He is what I call the next of the next. Yes, he has the pedigree. He has the work ethic. He has the IQ. Most importantly, the desire. You know, when you talk about players being better, I always like to think about if players know history. He understands history. He's been here before. We follow him through his high school years. He's always wanted to be an anchor. He's always wanted to be a very informative person. He looks for knowledge. He seeks a lot of knowledge. He wants to know what he's up against as far as history. Who am I chasing? What's his number? How many rebounds did he get? What did he do his rookie year? That's what's driving him.
So here's Oklahoma City's starting group. Westbrook and Robertson are the backcourt pair. Steven Adams is out there with Anthony. And it's George in at the 3, the small forward. Shot's good by Gibson.
much love goes his way. I mean, he refused to give up on the glass. Nice to see him rewarded because of his hustle.
Here's Westbrook, and Gibson sends it back. Taken away by Anthony. And the Thunder pushing it up now. And it's Westbrook, that time on the assist by Adams.
Well executed, and then you love the strong finish.
Fantastic speed on the break. Speed kills, showing no mercy in transition there, partner.
And so he earns a trip to the line. Official saw the contact, and he'll shoot two. Steven Adams picks one up.
Really good job of working the interior. You got to work it. You got to work it a bit. Wiggins attacking is able to draw the foul.
This is his first trip to the line tonight.
And taking a look back at last year's numbers, he's about a 76% shooter.
He misses the free throw. You talk about Karl Anthony Towns and his willingness to learn. You can't be great, I don't think, Kev, if you're not curious. And I always thought that was one of your best qualities. You were always curious.
Listen, I was super curious, and I always chased that curiosity. Not only that, I started to put the work ethic with that. If you don't put those things together, well, I would always tell him, be humble. Don't ever get to the point where your arrogance, starts to take over. Let your arrogance be on the court and what you're doing and how you're playing. Control your breathing. The young fella has a lot of good bones. I love his makeup. I love the fact that I had a year with him to teach him perspective, to teach him mentality, to teach him that you got to come in here and work on this every day. And the day that you don't, someone has the advantage. He pushes himself. Karl Anthony Towns he's from the pedigree, man. He's one of them ones. I like to think that he's under the umbrella. He's one of my young brothers, man.
Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Timmy, man, Timmy's very crafty, man. Our battles used to be just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time, Michael Jordan, Elijah Malone. At a time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well, was very long, had a lot of counters, very strong, and had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, Timmy's one of the best, man. It's not by coincidence. He's one of the ones.
Stripped away. Here's George. He can't get that one to fall. Great D that time from Gibson. Kevin, we see some coaches get extremely emotional on the sideline. Others take a more even-keeled approach, more calm on the sideline. Which coaching style would you prefer to play for when you were in your prime? Did you want a coach who was animated, or did you want a coach that was just kind of settled on the sideline?
You know what? I like the coach that was settled on the sideline. You know, I like to think that great coaches are going to be able to coach you in practice, and then during the games, you know, it's about the product and what you put out on the floor. You know, coaches that have understanding, coaches that have vision, coaches that understand the game, understand that this is a game of runs, that it's a game of momentum, and have plays for those momentums and those times. Yeah. Coaches that I've always gravitated to and understood that they
like Doc was kind of in between, wasn't he? Little bit of emotion, but he could also have a calm demeanor on that side.
Doc was on fire. I'm sorry. There was nothing calming about Doc.
To cover Doc's back here.
No, shout to Doc. Doc would rip your head off if you wasn't supposed to. But you know what? You need to play with that edge. You needed to know that if you wasn't in your spot, 1 through 15, you understood that you were supposed to be there. And it's good to play with that. I think that you don't want to be out there playing like, this is no big deal. Every play is a big deal. And no play, absolutely. And you know what? That severity, and you play with that importance, and knowing that you're playing for the next guy. So that's important.
Crawford's shot is good.
Yeah, good awareness there. He sees an opening and doesn't hesitate.
Well, it's a thing of beauty watching him attack the defense like that. I mean, they wanted no part of him on that layup.
And a moment now to look at the numbers for Felton. Last season's performance for him averaged about 6 points a game last season, 2 assists and 2 rebounds. And he's very steady with that second unit, running the offense and getting them into their sets.
Right. I mean, your backup point guard simply has to hold the fort, maintain the status quo, share the basketball, and minimize mistakes.
Minnesota in the lead. Well, the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is it such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. Just say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Relying on somebody else, okay? So let's just say you and someone are doing something, walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed in which you want to walk at might be different from the other person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of, we're going to walk up here together like at this speed, like this, or we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic because you have to understand you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, you got to pull them, you got to keep up, whatever it is. All this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right. On the clock. George, no good.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
And Kevin, welcome to the 2K team. I didn't realize how much you love NBA 2K.
Oh, man, 2K is always live, man. I'm a super fan. Man, this game is going all over the place, bro. Like, seriously, like, I'm geeked to see what's next, man. They got everything down. I'm sitting here watching all the little small intangibles that come with the game. I'm watching the game grow. I'm watching how better players are getting. I'm watching the online play, man. It's lit. It's lit. I can't wait to see this.
That free throw missing. Kevin, it's been said that some guys hated to play against you. Is there someone you hated to play against tough for whatever reason?
No.
You enjoyed every challenge?
I enjoyed every competitor because on the offensive side of the ball, I was always challenged when to use counters or what type of moves I was using. I took a lot of pride in having a variety of moves for different types of defenses, and each guy is going to bring out a different side of the offense in you. And then turning around and then being that defender and being able to guard the post player or the post or whatever the post player was or whatever. Rasheed Wallace was always a tough guard. Tim Duncan was always a tough guard. Zach Randolph was always a tough guard. Chris Webber, Dice, Karl Malone.
Great names. Here's Felton. Tyus Jones picking up that last basket. Felton the pass to Abrinas. And George, here we go. No one near Felton as he lets it go. That falls. Nice feed that time from George.
And they are going toe-to-toe here tonight, guys. This thing's like a heavyweight fight.
Yeah, these teams evenly matched, Greg, trading hits and refusing to give up any advantage.
And Grant sends it back.
Boy, he's having a tough time right now. Seems like he's forcing his shot a bit to me, Kevin, not letting it come in the flow of the game.
George missing again.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to buy himself a ticket to the bench. If he keeps shooting it like that, he has been putrid here this quarter.
And, oh, here we go. Felton's got it, the fast break chance. And that one's good, George. George has got 6.
And if you're the guy who has to guard him, it is never going to be an easy night for you.
It could go. What a play. Simply drains it in at the buzzer.
And money to end the quarter there with the triple.
They knew exactly what they wanted to do right there, Greg, and the timing was right on time.
And so it's Oklahoma City heading to the bench with a 7-point lead as we wrap up the quarter. They're feeling very confident, shooting the ball with great efficiency and dictating the pace. Back to the action after this word. And Russell Westbrook, a guy who has faced some criticism, also a guy who is extremely critical of himself.
It's tough, and I'm still learning every night to be able to come out, to know when to score, to know when to pass, to know when to be aggressive, to know when to slow down. It can be tough at times because I want to do so well, and I want my teammates to do so well, and I want to win so bad.
Well, you have to love the competitive attitude, the desire to be great, not just for himself, but for his teammates, too.
And the emphasis on winning. That's why so many people in the league feel that it's just a matter of time before Westbrook puts those finishing touches on his game.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And a look now at how the offensive approach has been going here so far for Oklahoma City.
Well, I'll tell you what, they must have had a good shoot-around because they've been fantastic from long range so far, fellas.
And also another aspect of their game that's been super so far tonight is how they've been sharing the basketball.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. And so in the game for the Timberwolves, Towns and Jang, the lengthy pair inside. Crawford out there with Jones, and it's Muhammad in at the 3. And the Timberwolves making a change here. Gibson's checked in, and a switch here also for Oklahoma City. Adams checked in. Kevin, over the years, we've seen a number of super teams develop, and in the Warriors' case, it's not the big 3, it's the big 4. Is this a trend you see continuing? You did it in Boston.
Man, look,
you were the original big 3.
It seems like it, eh? You know, right.
You were the original
like,
big 3.
You know what? It's like an innovative type of thing, right? I didn't even know that we were doing that. Right, because LeBron come back and do what? LeBron goes to
Miami
after that, right?
Down there.
And then what? And then it just starts morphing into these different things, right?
KD to Golden State.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This is,
what do you think of it?
I think this is pretty much the norm. You know what? Listen, I think KD took a lot of heat for it, but when you really think about what he's doing, is that, let's say 20 years from now, he sits back and he wants to talk to Steph, wants to talk to Draymond, wants to talk to Clay. These are all going to be 3 greats with him. I'm just talking about those 3 guys. He's playing with 3 of the greats. I'm sorry. If you had a chance to play with the other greats in the prime, Kev, you're going to do that. And if you don't, then something's wrong with you.
Now here's Teague following the miss by Carmelo Anthony. Over to the wing. Jang dishes to Teague. Bucket is good. Teague's got his second basket. Kevin, when you entered the draft, no player had made the jump from high school to the NBA in 20 years. And what were your emotions when your name was called number 5 overall?
Oh, man, I remember that. It was
17 years old?
17, just turning 18 at the time. I was in like a whirlwind, to be honest. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of stuff that goes up into the draft. You know, things that I wasn't aware of. You're training twice a day. You know, you're trying to get ready for the combine. You're trying to get ready for pre-draft. You got to do workouts. This is all new to me. On top of still going to high school, trying to, you know, graduate and stuff. So I figured it out. I hustled and I bustled and I juggled a bunch of different things. But once your name is called, it's almost like the culmination. It all comes together. It's a special moment for just you and your family and your loved ones and ones around you. And when my name was called, it felt like the world had stopped and everything was going very slow.
And we've got an update here, so let's check in with David Aldridge reporting from the sideline.
So, Kevin, Karl Anthony Towns was voted by GMs last season as the player they most want to build a franchise around. He is not resting on his laurels. He said, "I work hard on my game. I want to be the strongest player, the most intelligent player, and the most skilled player on the court at all times." Kevin?
Thanks, David. That work ethic will definitely help Towns get better. He's already a dynamite player.
Textbook shooting from the stripe. Great form, soft release. Mark it up.
Kevin, growing up watching the game of basketball, who are some of your earliest influences?
My early influences in the game of basketball was Magic Johnson, obviously Michael Jordan, then Chris Webber. Chris Webber, Malik Sealy was kind of like the younger generation of my inspiration. Yeah. St. John's was one of the destinations. Michigan was one of my college destinations. So those guys were my natural inspirations early on when I was young.
Yeah. The Timberwolves have shot 1 of 3 from the line tonight, missing 2 earlier on.
And when you look at their numbers from a season ago, 80% as a unit, that's something you'll be happy with.
First one falls for him. Kevin, when you're talking about influences, you mentioned Chris Webber's name a lot.
Yeah, see, Webb was kind of, he and Stacey Augmon was at a time where I was trying to find myself as a player.
Search for a roadmap, maybe, you know, who do I most resemble?
Not only that, but just some direction. You know, at the time I was a big who had hand.
And I love watching Jimmy Butler play. This guy is just fun to watch. I mean, he's a tremendous dunker, strong physical body, and he knows how to throw it down.
That was a great angle we just saw, courtesy of Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment. And, Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at that time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. Nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lou, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who have been through the trade process and talking to me, getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, you know, it was about what was best for me and my family.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. And almost 4 minutes gone here in the second quarter of play. Pass to Gibson.
Obviously, I mean, it would go a long way if he's making the shots. Right now, they're behind, and they certainly could use his help.
Anthony lays it up and banks it in. Anthony's got 4 points now in the quarter.
And love the muscle Anthony brings to the 3 spot. Takes pride in outworking everyone when he's that deep inside. And already his 3rd foul. It's got to be time to get him out of there probably until the 3rd quarter.
Towns, he's checked in for Gorgie Dang. Paul George, he's checked in for Oklahoma City. There's 1:54 left now here in the second. Here's Anthony, and the rejection by Towns. Here's Butler. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. And Kev, you had a voice in where you'd go from Minnesota. How did all that play out?
I sat with my wife, and we all kind of went through it and thought Boston was the best situation. Paul and I had great bones and great history that I don't think the world really knew. We have been knowing each other since 14, 15. I played with each other younger, and I had a chance to play with Cole, but that really didn't go through. A lot of people don't know I had a chance to play with Steve Nash also, but I wanted to play with Stoudemire, and that wasn't the case.
Hey, watch out now. Watch out. Man, I tell you what, one of the things I love about Westbrook is the ferocity with which he attacks the rack. When he's driving inside, he's trying to punish the defender and the basket.
Timeout call, first of the game for Minnesota. This game coming after a loss against the Pistons.
And that's one of those games where I just felt the attitude going in was wrong. I think they believed what was being said about them in the press, and that was a game that they just couldn't win.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I don't think it was about lacking confidence in themselves. I just think the talent difference between the teams was too much for them to overcome.
I mean, the number of points they've scored in the paint already here is eye-opening.
Towns with the steal. And KG, I have to say, a pleasure to have you with us here tonight, providing your great insight and intellect into these broadcasts. Thanks so much for being with us on the show, and I hope you come by again.
Man, K-Hall, anytime you need me, man, you let me know, man. I'm yours, man. You know what it is.
The great, the champion, Kevin Garnett. It's always fun to have Kevin Garnett on the set, Clark. You can tell he was in high spirits as usual. You have to respect his continued zeal for the game.
Yeah, he's never lacked for passion or zeal. It's been part of what's made him such a great player, a Hall of Famer in the future. And I don't think that's ever going away. I mean, he's really a kid at heart, and he played the game that way, which was a pleasure to watch. And, man, it's been really cool seeing him do what he did as an NBA player and actually giving back to some of the younger guys that are coming up in the league now.
Raymond Felton, he's checked in for Oklahoma City. And it's Wiggins with the jam.
Inviting contact on the drive. Wiggins with the aggressive move. Pays off there.
50 seconds left to play in the first half. Felton against Jones. They get a hand on it. It's stolen by Jones. Here's Towns. It doesn't go for him. And Oklahoma City will go with it the other way. They've led by as much as 10. They defeated Indiana in their last game.
And once they established that flow offensively, really never got any resistance from the D.
And, you know, Greg, they were sinking shots left and right, and that's got to be demoralizing for the defense. They were in a real zone.
19 seconds left to play in the first half. Jones in the post. He's covered by Felton. The rebound by Patterson. Patterson's got his third rebound tonight. Beyond the arc. No good, trying to beat the buzzer. Carmelo Anthony getting it done for Oklahoma City. He notched 8 points in the quarter and has that terrific basketball instinct on display. And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Carmelo, big night for you statistically on and off the ball tonight. Was the strategy any different going into this game?
It's the same thing. Try to move without the ball, play without the ball, space the court, attack when I get the ball, be aggressive, and find people when they open.
Well, Carmelo, congratulations on a big night. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the second half momentarily.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. Ernie Johnson here with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime show on 2K Sports. A stellar first half for Carmelo Anthony. He had 14 points, 3 steals, and 3 rebounds. Shaq, your thoughts on the Thunder?
Well, who would have thought they'd be leading at halftime? I didn't. They were big underdogs coming in. They played up to the level of their competition. If you thought they'd be intimidated by this matchup, think again. They definitely can't relax, though. We're going to have a fight on our hands all the way.
Kenny, let's get your insight on the Timberwolves.
Well, look, they turn the ball over way too much. You can't do that in the NBA. Teams are just too talented. You can't give them that many possessions. Don't give away the entire game just by giving up an extra few possessions here and there. These guys need to come with more precision in the second half.
And we're just about ready for the start of the third quarter. Kevin Harlan standing by. We'll see you.
The second half just about to get going here.
And, you know, Tom Thibodeau is one of the most respected defensive minds in the game in the NBA. Has a great track.
Timberwolves trail by 8. And on the floor for Billy Donovan as we get into the second half. Westbrook and Robertson are the backcourt pair. Paul George is out there with Anthony, and it's Adams in at the center position. The basket counts and one. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it a three-point play. And defense, something that this Timberwolves team has struggled with prior to the arrival of Coach Tom Thibodeau. At the end of last season, they started to turn things, Clark, in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you figure with Thibodeau, it's just a matter of time before his team becomes one of the better defensive teams in the league because he demands that you play that end of the floor all the time and the right way.
And that one falls for Muhammad.
You know, Shabazz Muhammad was one of the biggest names in all of high school sports as a senior. He's still trying to find that same kind of buzz and groove at this level.
Minnesota with the ball, trailing by 5. They get to take on the Heat at Miami after this one. That'll be the first half of a 2-game trip. Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sideline.
Well, guys, analytics has taken over the NBA, but Minnesota coach and president of basketball operations Tom Thibodeau says it doesn't tell you everything. He said analytics can measure a lot of things, but it's very difficult to measure drive. The magic is in the work. Kevin?
And Tom Thibodeau makes a good point, D.A. Analytics is certainly helpful, but it doesn't capture everything. Here's Westbrook. The shot's good on the assist by George. 10 points for Russell Westbrook.
And, you know, Westbrook is fearless. Likes getting deep inside and finishing around the rim and plays in attack mode all the time.
Here's Teague, kicks to Towns, and Adams sends it back. To the middle. Back to Westbrook from outside the arc. It's good. With that basket, he's now 5 for 9.
No doubt about the consistency when it comes to scoring the basketball for him tonight. A real nice lift for their offense. That is some tough defense there against one of the better finishers in our game. And as you would expect, Steven Adams has grown into a larger role with this team. Really came in as a guy who could defend and rebound, but starting to become more of a factor within their offensive framework.
And some changes here for the Timberwolves. Gorgie Dang comes in for Andrew Wiggins, and it's Crawford in for Jimmy Butler. And Oklahoma City also making a switch. Arenas is checked in for Andre Robertson. Here's Towns, and Adams sends it back, and he's able to get it back. And here we go with Westbrook running it up the court. And that one, good. Westbrook's got the lead up to 10 now for the Thunder.
Shots are just flowing for him right now, having a really strong quarter.
And the Timberwolves call time. And Greg, with Adams, he hasn't just been given more opportunity to display what he can do on offense. He's earned it.
You hit it right on the head. And, you know, as an example, a guy that was a bad free throw shooter, all of a sudden he became respectable because of his work ethic last season. Much more nimble in the paint than most would think. Just good awareness, and he knows when to pick his spots.
Right side, Westbrook. Outside, George. 6 to shoot. Over Teague. Will not go. This is off the front iron. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Westbrook. Timeout is called. First of the game for the Thunder. And where the shots been coming from tonight? Here's a look broken down by paint, mid-range, and three-point shot attempts so far for the Thunder.
And the one thing that jumps out at me when you look at that shot chart is just how little scoring they get from out above the free throw line extended three-point range. They've got to get more points from out high if they want to improve their offense.
A little over 2.5 minutes off the clock in this final half of play. Muhammad, no luck. Oklahoma City leading by 8. One of the toughest parts about playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves is the travel schedule.
Yeah.
Clark, even interdivision games can involve lengthy flights, and the team travels more than any other in the NBA.
Yeah, and you know everybody travels, and it is part of the league, but it is a small disadvantage for Minnesota to deal with. Not a big one, but nonetheless something unique to them as a team. Not much you can do about it, though. That's their lot, and they've got to make it work.
Second half of play, and we're 3 minutes into the third here. For 3, Westbrook passes it to Abrinas. Looking for Anthony, and gets it there. Over Jang. Anthony with the bucket. Anthony's got 16.
And Melo is highly explosive, nailing shots left and right. The D has got to get it out of his hands.
Elbow shot is on the way, and he makes that one.
The entire defense was frozen footed. Nobody picked up the shooter, Kevin.
In the third quarter with just over 3.5 minutes off the clock. Westbrook kicks to Anthony, and it's out of bounds. The Thunder able to retain possession.
All right, a chance to check out stats for Russell Westbrook. Coming off a terrific season. First in scoring, third in assists, and he also finished the season in the top 10 in rebounding. It's just a terrific year on the glass.
And his unmatchable instincts for scoring the basketball. That's what made him #1 last year. You can't stop him, and you can't even really contain him. Pass to Jang, and stolen by Patterson. Grant the pass to Adams. Outside, Felton. Patterson, the screen, takes the 3. Rebounded by the Timberwolves. Towns has got rebound number 10 tonight with that last one. Here's Muhammad. A second chance effort. It's tipped.
I think he's got to regroup and get himself together here. I mean, something's going wrong with him this quarter. He's really falling off.
Abrinas kicks to Patterson. Felton dishes to Patterson. There's a good screen. Puts up a 3. Felton can't get that one to fall.
Hard to figure out how he doesn't knock that one down. No defender in sight.
And it's Towns penetrating. Shoots over Adams. It's good, and the Thunder lead is cut down to just 8 points on the bucket from Towns.
You know, defensively, you've got to respect Towns' jumper. I mean, that creates driving lanes for him because you do have to guard him because he'll make you pay if you don't.
Patterson, the screen. 6 on the shot clock. Back to Grant. Outside, Felton. Over Teague. And again, Oklahoma City, no good.
If they play it right, we're talking a 2-for-1.
Well, you're maximizing your possessions. That's the critical thing here, and they've got to make sure the timing is right, though.
Here's Patterson, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. I think the one thing about Patrick Patterson out of Kentucky, he is a smart basketball player.
Yeah, he's not the best rebounder or shot blocker, but the advanced stats love him, and he gets the job done at both ends of the floor.
Greg, you watch the Thunder play, and it's clear that this team comes out looking to attack. Everyone on the team wants to put it on the floor and go right at the rim.
And part of that is their leader, Westbrook, just setting the tone. I mean, team finished near the top in points in the paint last season, and the addition of Paul George just helps to enforce that strength.
Westbrook kicks to Roberson. The pass to Adams. And the rejection by Towns.
Great timing on the block there. Towns helps affect winning in a lot of different ways.
Got it up. Butler And that's it for the third quarter. Both teams scoring well as we head to the fourth. Oklahoma City out in front, up by 8. And we'll get it going after this from the Target Center. Let's take a listen to a recent huddle from Coach Billy Donovan.
Guys, good job hitting ahead. That means we're running, which is good, okay? We've got to pay attention right now, okay, and what we're doing coming.
Just 1 quarter left in regulation. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. The Thunder leading by 8. Wiggins at small forward with Gibson at the 4. Jones and Butler in the backcourt. And it's Towns in at the 5. So that's the lineup for Minnesota.
He operates well in traffic, but still, that's just a tough play to finish.
It's stolen by Anthony. Now it's Anthony running. He can go all the way. Westbrook kicks to Roberson. Wiggins against Anthony. Over Wiggins. And the shot falls short this time.
And low percentage look on that one. Not sure what he was thinking.
I agree with you. Not a good shot, not good offense. They can get a much better look than that, but they're going to need to be patient to do so.
And yes, it's good. Roberson's got the lead up to 10 now for Oklahoma City. And a moment here to take a look at some of the hustle stats for Oklahoma City.
The activity level defensively, I've really been impressed with. There's been an attack mode on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think you also have to give them a lot of credit for how well they've risen up to meet shooters, to challenge shots in this game. A lot of blocked shots tonight.
And you don't ever want to get into the habit of letting the offense get to the rim.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's the message they were sending with that foul. Nothing easy inside. 2 shots.
That's good from Gibson.
And really the past few seasons, the Thunder have just been a dominant team on the glass. They do a great job of limiting second chance points, and they get a lot of extra possessions with their own offensive rebounding.
And the Thunder making a change here. George is checked in, and both free throws good from Gibson. You look over the roster of the Thunder, and it's easy to see why they're such a great rebounding team. 1 through 5 can come up with 10 boards on any given night.
And those rebounding totals usually translate to wins for this team. Very rarely do they lose a game when they're having their way on the glass. The goal at the end of the night is to play the bully in and around that painted area.
First minute and a half of basketball played here in the fourth quarter. Here's George, and it's George finishing it off.
Yeah, excellent determination there from George. This wasn't going to be denied. Fighting off the physical contact and nailing the shot over good defense.
Minnesota calls timeout.
And he has not been on his game here. He's forcing a lot of shots, and the team is suffering because of it. It's time for him to focus on getting his teammates involved.
On the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Hey, Kevin, well, let's summarize what Tom Thibodeau went over with his guys during the break. He was not happy with their shot selection, and he let them know about it. He said, we're taking low percentage shots, guys. Space the floor, make the extra pass, and work for those shots in the flow of the offense. Stay with the plan. We'll see if they can get it going.
Thanks so much, David. And the foul called on Tyus Jones. That is his first foul of the game. And the Timberwolves making a change here. Teague's checked in. The Thunder leading by 10. Westbrook passes to Anthony. The Thunder with another miss.
They've been the better rebounding team by a healthy margin, but it hasn't been enough.
Yeah, you know, they're hustling and giving a good effort, that's for sure, but unfortunately, the execution has been lacking.
Towns, and the dunk by Towns.
Hey, scoring off misses, that's easy buckets. Something Towns has the length and tenacity to do on a regular basis.
For Oklahoma City, they've gone 2 of 7 from the field in what's been a cold start to the fourth quarter for them. Here's Anthony. That shot off. Some solid defense from Butler. For Minnesota, they've gone 1 of 3 from the field to start the fourth quarter. And that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. Teague's got 3 assists tonight.
And Butler does a nice job using his body. I mean, especially when he's close to the basket, comfortable operating inside.
Outside Westbrook. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. It's on Jeff Teague.
And Russell Westbrook is as explosive a guard as we've seen in the history of the game. An incredibly gifted scorer who can also punch it on you.
And team-wide, they've been terrific from the line here. Just one of those nights when the confidence has spread from one player to the next.
Jamal Crawford, he's checked in for Butler.
You know, despite his youth, Kevin, Towns sees the big picture. I mean, gets points any way you can, and we'll see if he can cash in at the line here.
At the line for 2. The free throw drops for Towns.
Wow, they've made every free throw here in the second half.
And that efficiency, Greg, as you know, so critical when you're looking to overcome a deficit. You've got to be close to perfect and can't waste scoring opportunities.
And it's been a really good day for him at the line. Some other bigs have well-documented problems on their free throws. He's not one of them.
And the rejection by Towns. And he makes the bucket through contact and gets the whistle, too.
And they haven't had much success in the paint since halftime. I mean, the offense sort of stuck on the perimeter. They need to get a little bit more inside-out balance.
And that one falls for Jamal Crawford. A bit under 3.5 minutes have passed here in the fourth. Westbrook up top, Teague covering. Westbrook dishes to Anthony. A strong finish under heavy pressure all over. And the Thunder lead by 5.
Yeah, just superb focus there from Melo. Overpowering the D, one of the best shooters we have in this game.
Westbrook with the steal. And here's the fast break. And Anthony gets it to go on the assist from Robertson. 20 points for Carmelo Anthony.
And a good example there why it's important to change ends quickly.
Vitally important. I mean, if you relax for a second, you're cooked. You're toast. They learned that lesson there.
And here's Towns. Nice ball movement by Minnesota.
That's just sloppy. I mean, you can't lose control of the ball like that and let it get back across midcourt.
And they know that. I mean, maybe it's a mistake that'll sharpen their focus a little bit going forward.
In the corner, it's Westbrook. Back to George. And it's George finishing it off.
Love the attitude of Westbrook. Continues to improve at running the offense and finding ways to create opportunities for his teammates.
And the Timberwolves call time. They're trailing by 9. 1:36 left in the fourth quarter. And now the presentation of our Jordan Player of the Game, Carmelo Anthony.
Plain and simple, his scoring is what made him our pick tonight. Even when the D's giving him all their attention, they just have not been able to contain him. If they backed off him for 1 second, he made them pay.
If he could only contribute like this for them every night, you can't overstate how much better it makes this team when he has a game like this, and on the road no less. 1:36 left in the fourth quarter. Left side, Gibson. Wiggins outside. Oh, where did that come from? That was beautiful.
What a punch.
And the highlight reel replay brought to you by Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment. Excellent work by the talented people in our production truck as well. Count it.
And I love the confidence and energy Westbrook plays with. Just an excellent scorer once he gets good position inside.
Crawford kicks to Towns. And Adams sends it back. They get it back. Whistle blows. Yep, that's going to be a travel.
That's just sloppy. Yeah, I mean, you can't lose control of the ball like that and let it get back across midcourt.
And they know that. I mean, maybe it's a mistake that'll sharpen their focus a little bit going forward.
Westbrook against T. Shoots from 8. Towns with the defensive effort. The Timberwolves have gone 4 of 7 from the field since the beginning of the fourth.
You know what? Tried to step in and cut him off, but just didn't get there quick enough.
Yeah, he was one step late that time, Greg.
Shooting 2.
He hits the first one, and that brings them within 8. Second free throw, no good that time. He really wanted that one.
He needed to convert on all of those. Missed opportunities at the line are the last thing they need right now.
Anthony on the wing. Anthony missing again. Now the Timberwolves with it. Crawford, no one around him. Here's Towns. No luck, they battled on the glass but couldn't knock it down. 2 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. Back to Robertson. In the corner, George with it. And oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2.
Well, you really have to like how George uses his body effectively down low there. I mean, the defense pretty much has no choice but to foul him in that situation.
And George drops them both.
Clutch free throws there. That should ensure they're going home with the W.
Crawford, no luck. Puts it up. No good there. So no problem for Oklahoma City as they get the win. And in the win, a comfortable win in what was, I think, gee, a pretty hostile environment.
It really was. You know, it's never going to be easy on the road, but they didn't have too many problems with that tonight.
David, thank you as always. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. See you later.